legit. I'm too legit to quit. Okay. Hello, this is Chef Sarah, and today we're going to be going over velveting. If you've ever gone to a Chinese restaurant and you loved what you had and went home and tried to recreate it and just wasn't quite right, this is why. This is the secret. And there are a ton of videos out there on velveting, but I'm going to show you the tricks to each type of meat. So let's go over the ingredients we have here. So I have some flat iron steak, just I cut it into sort of big strips this time, just because it sounds good to me, a little more meaty. And then I have some chicken breast. I have some baking soda and cornstarch. This is and a little bit of water. This is all you truly need for the velveting. I have these over here because I'm going Asian style with both of these today. We can talk about that later. All right, so here's something really important to note. So when we're looking at chicken breasts, you're not necessarily trying to chew through it. It's not tough. It gives way just fine. But the issue with the chicken breast is it gets dry. So we don't necessarily need to tenderize, which is what baking soda will do. It will break down the fibers of the meat. We need to protect it so that it doesn't dry out. So instead of using baking soda with chicken breast, we can actually just add a little bit of cornstarch, and that will create like a little protective thermal blanket for it so it does not dry out. The little molecules will coat it like a little blanket and keep it protected. Okay, so let's go ahead and start there with the chicken breast. So I am going to add these things. This is going to be my salt component. I'm going to add some soy sauce, and then just for flavor, I'm going to add a tiny bit of sesame oil. I have some ginger and other things I'm going to add later, but we're going to start with this as the base. So maybe this is not quite a pound of chicken, so I'm going to add maybe a tablespoon, maybe slightly over a tablespoon of soy sauce, and just a little drizzle of sesame oil. I'm going to add more to the dish later in finishing, but just a little just to get in there. Okay, and then cornstarch. I'm going to go about a teaspoon of cornstarch in the chicken. And you don't really need a lot. You're not looking to bread it. You're just looking to kind of lightly coat it. Here's another thing that I see missed quite often. So if I'm mixing this around, it does just fine. But if you find that it's clumping together and getting dry and only sticking to one piece of chicken or only a few pieces of chicken just because it's getting pasty, add water. Just a tiny bit of water. If you don't have water and you want to add some more flavor or more depth, you can use like cooking wine. Anything you want to use, just add some liquid so that cornstarch can distribute evenly and make that little blanket. Because it's basically just like the chicken is pulling a pillowcase over itself if it's all clumped up in one area. Sure, a portion of it is covered, but it's not fully protected. And don't worry, you can add too much water, but maybe just a teaspoon or so, and that's fine. That's done. So now this is on its way to be a velveted, nice, silky chicken. Okay, so next is our steak meat. This is the coolest part. This is great, keeps it nice and moist, fantastic. But for steak, I like it because you can take a cheap piece of beef that nobody wants. It's like $5 on value pack or whatever it is, and you can make it really nice. For this one, because when you bite into a piece of steak that is cheap and tough and awful, you have to pull on it. It's a tugging game. So this is where the baking soda does come in. You definitely want some baking soda on a tough piece of meat. Okay, so it's going to be about a half a teaspoon per pound. This is really close to a pound. I think it's 0.9 of a pound. So I'm going to grab around a teaspoon. Okay, and then the same goes for cornstarch. We're still going to use that protective layer, so I'm going to add that in there as well. And then I'm going to mix it. I could have put my flavorings on first. It doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure that you get some liquid in there at some point so it can kind of dilute and let those little tiny, they're not molecules, but little bits of powder, I don't know how to say it, become suspended in the liquid so it can travel easier. That's what we're doing. We're giving a little H2O passport. So I'm going to throw a little bit of water. And then again, I'm going to use the same flavor profile. So I'm gonna add a little bit of soy sauce just for the salt and a little bit of sesame oil for the flavor. And you'll get to, once you do this a few times, you'll kind of understand the fluidity of it. You'll understand what it needs to feel like. It should glide like really kind of easy through your fingers. When you squish it, it's sliding through, but you don't have a pool in the bottom. So if you can see, there's not a pool of liquid because that cornstarch has absorbed it. Okay, and then you don't need to let this set too long. So this one has the baking soda on it. 15 minutes, probably minimum, up to an hour. You could let this sit and marinate. And if you want to add more aromatics, you want to add whatever you want. If you want to make fajitas and you want that really tender beef, you can do that too. It doesn't have to be just Asian style. There's not a whole lot of rules here. So for tonight, I'm going to make some cashew chicken and maybe something like a Mongolian beef. And I will stir fry that, and I will come back and show you guys what it looks like after it's done. Okay, so here we have our Mongolian beef and our cashew chicken. And like I said, you can use this for anything. It doesn't have to be Asian cuisine. You can do anything you want to if you want that real nice velvety texture. Thank you so much for watching.